Good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Pape Samb, as you know, but my real name is too long for me to share that. It's Alioune Badara Samb. So I'm originally from Senegal and Gambia. I'm here today to share my experience in regard to leadership. And when we're talking about leadership in the African context, it's a little bit challenging because there is a lot of good things and there is also a lot of bad things that people talk about. But what I want to focus today is using concrete examples, success stories through my life, through my career, through my experience, things that I have done with people, things that I was able to achieve in partnership with other people. And before we do that, we first need to ask a couple questions. What is leadership? I think it's something that everybody talk about. Everybody talk about leadership. And what is leadership for? To me, that's the most important question. What is it for? Everything we do, today we here gather to reinvent education for life. So if we want to reinvent education for life, it has to be done by people. And that's when leadership has to play a role. What is leadership? The first question that I ask. Most people will think that leadership is about concept, theories, and positions. You can be a leader without being a CEO. You can be a leader without being a manager. You can be a leader without being anything at all, but just helping lead people. Leadership is more about better, faster, easier implementation, execution of policies, program for the betterment of human beings. And that's where the challenge exists in Africa. Between 1980 and 2010, research has said that $1.4 trillion was lost in Africa due to bad leadership. 1.4. So you see the importance of leadership. How can you lose that much money because of leadership? And as you know right now, the African economy is growing very fast. This year, 2002, the economic growth was 4.2. Next, 2013, currently we're saying it's 4.5. Next year, we're saying it's going to be 5.2. So everything is working well pretty much with Africa, except one thing, which is leadership. It's a problem everywhere, not only Africa, but it's a problem everywhere. But Africa, the reason that we're still holding back is because of leadership. I wouldn't say necessarily bad leadership, but I said that leadership could be the solution to solving all those problems. Now, let me take 4 different examples. 4. The first one, that's what I will call leadership and community education. That's something that I've been through. When I was 13, I went back to my grandfather's compound, which is a very traditional religious community in Kaolack, which is in Senegal. And my father was the only one who ran out from his father's compound or father's city to go to Saint Louis. Saint Louis used to be the capital of West Francophone Africa, used to be the first capital of Senegal. My mom is from Gambia. Her family, all her family went to school in England. They have their masters and everything. So when I was 13, I went back to my grandfather's compound, and I realized that women, girls, children, they have no access to education, but especially women. They really don't have any professional development opportunities because they work from sunset to sunrise to sunset. So I asked my mom, what can I do? You're so busy, you're doing everything. She said, we just need some time to rest. I was 13. I went to the religious leader because he's the one pretty much who's the president of that community or the governor of that community. And I asked him, why is that? He didn't respond to me. He kicked me out. They beat me up, sent me because I was young. So the next year I came back with 6 of my friends. Went back directly to my mom, gathered everybody and said, what can we do? They said the same thing. So the political leaders were trying to get into that community, but they couldn't because it's a traditional religious leader. So we said, let's start a daycare. And we know using the political leader, we'll be able to have all the support from them. They will be excited about the idea. But the local traditional leader will not accept it because you're going to be teaching French. So we decided to create a Franco-Arabic school where we teach both French and Arabic. So that's something that I could call leadership and community education. Because through partnership, through the support of the local community, through insiders, we were able to build a relationship, create that daycare, and the first year we had 114 kids. So that's leadership. Leadership is not about the lead, it's about the led, meaning people behind how do you serve them. So that's what I will definitely call community education. The second one about leadership is a concept that really interests me. It's value-based education. Value-based education and leadership is really important. I was in India 2 days ago doing work with Gen Irrigation and Gandhi Research Foundation. I was shocked when Gen Irrigation, I don't know if you know Gen Irrigation, is the #1 company in mango processing pearls in the world. In the world, not only in India, in the world. And when I was talking to the chairman, and I said, do you fire people? He said, no. He does not fire people at all. And I said, why not? He said, every human being is good at something. You need to find what they're good at. Train them, give them the support, the energy, the expertise, and they will be doing the work. And that, when doing that, they see the work as not something that just generates revenue for them, but they see the work as something that empowers them. They own the work, they feel part of the organization. Another thing that I learned about value-based organization is an organization called Time Bank, USA. They're in 60 countries right now. I don't know if you know it. What they're doing is they use time as a currency as opposed to money. And you know why? Because time is the only thing that does not discriminate. Everybody has 24 hours. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Everybody. When people talk about maximizing your time, you can't, because you will never have more than 24 hours. If you can, then that will be maximizing. You can maximize your energy, making sure that you don't get tired easily or fast, and be sure to do work. So time banking, what they do is, everybody has 24 hours. So in order to build a community, we exchange everything based on time. But in the capitalistic world, it's a problem. Because my 1 hour might be 600, your 1 hour might be more than that, his 1 hour might be less than that. So to eliminate discrimination, they use that 1 hour to bring people to work together. So you take 1 hour to babysit my kid, I'll take 1 hour to help somebody else to tutor or to do something else. So they're now in 60 countries using time banking system. That's the value-based education, that's value-based leadership. A third one, which is what I call leadership and community entrepreneurship, is what Jerry was talking about earlier when he was reading my bio, which is the Global Youth Innovation Network. I was in Colombia, South America, for a youth employment and empowerment conference, 5 days. For 5 days, we're talking to youth about them. They didn't say anything. We didn't give them the opportunity to say anything. At the end of the conference, and I realized, wow, even though I was just invited, this is totally wrong. I need to talk to somebody. So I went to one of the organizers and I said, how can we do everything for youth, not valuing their contribution, their expertise, what they know and what they don't know, but not only that, what are we doing for them? We should know what is it that they need. How can you just come and tell you this is what you need and this is what you should do without knowing your needs? That's a problem. So because of that, I said to myself and other people that we need to have a youth-led, youth-run organization where the approach will be first identifying the need, the knowledge gap, the product gap of the youth. And then from there, you design training program to give them the skills. And then from there, you give them the money. Because there is no entrepreneurship program without the money that works. But youth is a big risk in the capitalistic world again, because nobody wants to invest. Now things are changing easily. After you graduate from school, the first question is, do you have experience if you want a job? If you're going to look for a loan, do you have collateral? What do you have? So you have to do something. So what we're doing is those three-step approach: knowledge gap identification, provision of entrepreneurship training, and access to microcredit. And then from there, it's a 36 program, and from there, mentoring, coaching, and all those things. And it's been working because we've been doing it for 2 years. The fourth one that I want to use to close up with this one is what I call the triple sector or triple strength leader. There is a lot of things that we're doing. There is, in this room, I'm sure there are 2 or 5 organizations pretty much doing the same thing. We need leaders in Africa who can navigate among the 3 different industries, from business, nonprofit, and government. And it's not only in Africa, we need it everywhere. But how do you do that? It's through what I would call developing synergy, identifying what you know, what you can do, and what you can't. And who should I bring in? It should be a chain. We always talk about value chain everywhere. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. But it's at least something that you can try. Once you start this one, go to it. So synergy is the first one that I will suggest. The second one is there are so many organizations or initiative programs going down, closing. Why? Because they don't have the resources, they don't have the expertise, they don't have the money to be able. So sustainability. And then the last one, in terms of that approach of developing triple sector leaders, is what I would call, so you need success stories to inspire people. Everybody wants to be part of something successful, and nobody wants to be part of that, something that's failing. We always don't learn, I can say always, or not at all, learning from success. We don't. When we are successful, we always say that it's because of my skills, it's because of my competencies. We don't either need to learn from failure. And when you fail, it's not failure. It's one step closer to success. So you should learn from both. So those were pretty much the 4 examples and success stories that I wanted to use, because 98% of leadership contexts going to Africa or being applied by Africans come from the West. What about the culture and the tradition? What makes us different, all of us, is our values, our assumptions and beliefs and expectations. What is important for us might not be what's important for somebody else. And instead of giving people a chance of showing us who they are, we always assume that we are better. And because of our beliefs, we believe that what we believe is better. And we expect things that we don't really necessarily know. We expect things that we don't communicate with people. So our values and assumptions and beliefs and expectations make us strong, but make us weak. So if we're developing leadership for Africa, we should include those things. A continent that's almost 20% of the world population, 54 countries, over 2,000 languages. You cannot export everything and say that will work. What is it locally that we can use? If you look at history, you know Kanka Musa, the empire of Mali, was the richest man in the world, up to now, the richest man of all time. He had the biggest empire in Africa. He was generous, even though he was fighting other people, he was trying to conquer more. He was generous, even though that was the context. But at least he learned something he was able to share. When he catch people, he didn't necessarily kill them. So we have a lot of values and tradition that we need to include. Not necessarily everything, but value-based is very important. What Jain irrigation is doing, based on the Jainism religion, that's what makes them very successful. What time banking is doing, valuing everybody, what we call no more throwaway people. Don't trash people. Don't think people are useful or useless. Everybody has something, you need to find that. And the role of a leader is to identify your potential and to help you unlock your potential. Again, leadership is not about the lead, it's about the led. And leadership is not about theories and concepts and positions. It's about better, faster, easier implementation, execution of policies, programs, and businesses for the betterment of people. Thank you so much.